Good evening, everybody. I'm Ramon. Welcome to tonight's talk show. Today we have some special guests. Here's our first guest, John Proctor.
Good evening. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, let's get right into it. So, John, what do you think about this whole situation with Elizabeth being accused?
Well, as you all know, I am a very religious and honest man. I truly believe that everyone in Salem agrees on me when I say that my wife Elizabeth is innocent.
So, by saying your wife Elizabeth is innocent, you were saying that Abigail is guilty?
Abigail is a villainous fraud. She made those foolish accusations against my wife Elizabeth out of jealousy.
There has been rumors of you and Abigail sustaining a relationship. Is this true?
It was a mistake to do this behind my family, but as you all know, Abigail has not confessed of her sin. Therefore, she is a liar.
So, what were the consequences of having this affair with Abigail?
Oh, well, we ended in bad terms, which only resulted in my wife being a victim and getting accused of witchcraft.
Do you truly believe that Abigail accused your wife in order to replace her?
Abigail is accusing my wife because she wants to be with me.
Alright, John. Thanks for coming on and speaking on your wife's behalf. Now, let's move on to our next guest. You can exit through that door over there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Abigail, come on in. Good evening, Abigail.
Hi.
The town has been rumored to be full of witchcraft. How do you feel about this, since you were the one accusing people of this witchcraft?
Yes, I have only accused people who have practiced witchcraft.
Speaking of accusations, you have recently accused Elizabeth, the wife of John Proctor. Does this have anything to do with you and him and your relationship?
Yes, we both love each other. We both want to be together.
Is it true that, this is hard for me to ask you, is it true that you used a drug called Ergo to bewitch yourself and to make it seem as Mary or Elizabeth had possessed you?
I have never heard of that drug. I work in the kitchen. I never interacted with a drug like that.
Is it true that you accused Elizabeth of witchcraft so that you could end up with John Proctor?
Proctor is married. I would never attempt to destroy his relationship with Elizabeth. However, Proctor should look for someone new besides Elizabeth.
Wow, thank you for your time, Abigail. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I hope maybe you could come back later for another series of questions. Thank you for your time. Everyone give a round of applause for Abigail Williams. Woo! Welcome back to tonight's talk show. We have our next guest coming in, Elizabeth. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, we all know you are John Proctor's wife. So, how do you feel about him committing adultery with Abigail?
Well, first off, I do not care about that self-centered girl named Abigail. And I know that this was just a simple mistake by my husband, unless, of course, it was caused by a supernatural force.
So, are you saying that this happened all due to witchcraft?
No, I'm not saying that. All I know is it was a simple mistake. Abigail somehow manipulated him. Who knows if it was witchcraft.
But is it not true that Abigail accused you of witchery? What do you have to say on your behalf?
Well, I cannot say a word if Abigail used some kind of witchery, because I do not know. But what I do know is she accused me because she wanted to take my place and be with my husband. That's all I have to say about her.
So, what do you think about being accused from planting a needle into that puppet?
I have never made that puppet. It was a plan by Abigail to sabotage me and make me look guilty. Mary Warren is a witness. She saw Abigail implant that needle in the puppet.
Well, that's all the time we have for you. I'm sorry, and thank you for your time, and answering a few questions is more than enough. Thank you, Elizabeth. So everybody give her a round of applause, please. And you can exit on your way out.
Thank you.
Alright, so our next guest was acquainted with Abigail. Please welcome Rebecca.
Good evening.
Rebecca, I'm curious to know how you are feeling about being one of the accused victims of witchcraft.
It confuses me knowing that Abigail is not in prison for her lies, and Elizabeth is. I was once a mother, and I know that Elizabeth would never do witchcraft. She would never abandon her children for her own needs.
So why is it that you and Elizabeth have not signed your confessions?
Elizabeth and I are very religious and very honest women. There is nothing to confess. This is just a whole misunderstanding. I assure you that if Abigail was in our position, she would most likely confess that she is responsible for all of this.
So Abigail argues that Elizabeth is guilty, while on the other hand, John argues that she is innocent. Who do you side with here?
I know Proctor is telling the truth, because it is impossible how Abigail could accuse every woman of witchcraft and be certain of it. However, can she decide something is the work of witchcraft if she has never experienced it?
So, Rebecca, our time is about to be up. So before our time ends with you, we were wondering if it was possible that Abigail found this drug called ergo in her crops to make herself seem bewitched and frame others of witchcraft.
It must be Abigail. She was once a servant of Proctor, so it's possible that she has interacted with that drug many times.
Thank you for joining us today, Rebecca. You could leave over there. There's a door over there. You could
Oh, alright. Thank you. Bye.
And for our last guest of the day, give it up for Mary Warren. Good evening, Mary.
Good evening.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
There's not much to say about myself. I work for John and Elizabeth Proctor as their servant.
So as a servant, I would think you work in the kitchen. Did you ever hear of a fungus named ergo that has aroused due to the climate in Salem and is typically consumed unknowingly by people, and it causes hallucination and bewitched behaviors? Do you believe that this explains your supernatural encounters with the devil that Abigail accused you of?
Aye, sir, for it has all been the cause of rye bread. It has manipulated my vision and has me crying and yearning for my senses to restore.
Were you aware of the puppet being used against Elizabeth?
Aye, Abigail forced me to put a needle in the puppet and then made me turn against Elizabeth so Abigail can get the advantage of accusing her.
So, based on your relationship with Elizabeth, do you think she should sign the confession or stay loyal to herself and her religion?
More deaths of innocent people will increase because Abigail made these accusations. So yes, I do think Elizabeth should sign her confession because she does not deserve to be executed.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming out and answering a few questions. And that is all the time we have today. So if you could please exit out that gate over there, that'd be really great. All the time we have today. See you guys next time on the Late Night Talk Show with me,